2014 Sprint Cup Series previews on Motor Racing Network. Woody Cain along with Dustin Long from MRN.com. Hendrick Motorsports, what can we say? This team has won 6 of the last 8 championships, 4 cars in the chase a year ago, and the new system we've got coming for 2014, that would have made Dale Earnhardt Jr. your champion a year ago.
Well, that's if everything would have stayed the same, and certainly a lot of ifs there. But yeah, it is an interesting thing is there was the Dale Jr. championship in that scenario. But, with the new chase format, a lot of people asking the question, who does that hurt? Who does that help? And a lot of people think, does that hurt Jimmy Johnson? Well, Jimmy Johnson kind of joked on the media tour, says, well, when I heard about the changes, I kind of thought they were trying to come up with some way to beat me, but no. He says, look, seriously, we're good in the chase. We've got the highest winning percentage in the chase. He's right. They've won 24% of all the chase races since the chase debuted in 2004. So, he's still going to be a juggernaut and still somebody to keep an eye on. So I don't think this chase format is going to hurt Jimmy Johnson's chances. It might help some other people, though. We'll see about that.
He also said, we've come to Homestead a lot of years only having to defend and not race. As we know, this year it's going to come down to one track, 4 guys tied, one race to settle it all. So that may or may not play into his hands along the way. Cain, a guy who felt like he was almost there to get over the hump a year ago. Jimmy Johnson, of course, winning the championship. Dale Earnhardt Jr. didn't get the win. He did have a second place at Dover that was very strong. And as we mentioned, would have been the champion along the way. And Jeff Gordon, starting to hear more of the questions now about how much longer does he want to go. He's still very competitive, as he showed last year, even though he was the 13th man in a 12-car field.
Well, the key for Jeff Gordon really is to get off to a strong start. They have not done that the last 2 seasons. He knows it. He's talked about it. And he says, look, we haven't made the best of decisions. We've kind of been a little bit aggressive on some of the things we've done setup-wise. We need to be more secure in what we're doing and get off to a better start. And certainly with this new chase format, you get a win early. It's all but guarantees you a spot in the chase. So a good start really could mean a lot. So I think that's going to be a key thing to watch with Jeff Gordon is how well do they get out of the gates, because we've seen how strong he can be in the chase and how well he's gone, but he's just had to fight and claw his way to get to Richmond. As you mentioned, Cain, finished 4th a couple of years ago, finished 12th last year. He's only had one top 10 finish in the points the last 5 years. You really want to see more out of him and that and that group. The Keith Rodden, the engineer, moving on, but certainly you still got the combination of Kenny Francis as crew chief and Casey Cain. I really expect big things. And I know talking with Casey, one of the things he's done since last season, he's kind of worked a little bit more on his mental approach. They look at how strong mentally Jimmy Johnson is, and Casey's physically, he's as fit as anybody else. He can wheel a car as well as just about anybody else. So he's looking at that other element. And as for Dale Jr., best finish last year in the points in a number of years. But the key is getting that win and getting wins, and also doing it in his last season working with Steve Letarte, his crew chief. Letarte will move to NBC after this season. So it's in that sense for those two, it's now or never.
Absolutely it is. So Hendrick Motorsports looking to be as strong as ever, but still a few questions remain, as they do with most teams. You can keep up with all the 2014 goings on at MRN.com and follow along our conversation in real time all the time on Twitter. Use our handle @MRN Radio and the hashtag AskMRN.